One topic of discussion that is very popular online is about how Chat GPT is going to kill programming jobs. Well, I'm a programmer, so let me speak about my experience using Chat GPT to help me program. That's what we're going to talk about today. The way I want to start is with sort of like a general overview on technology helping us access more things we couldn't do before. So if you remember how photography used to be a thing where people have to buy a special camera, they learn how to use it, and then they're able to get really good pictures. Well, technology such as artificial intelligence and all kinds of image processing made photography more accessible to regular people. Now, everyone with a modern phone can take great pictures. Now, I'm not going to get into discussion whether they're better or worse than SLR. That's a different thing. But people can get really good pictures that they couldn't before. And in a way, that is reducing necessity for a professional photographer, because people can get more and more pictures taken themselves, and they need to rely less on professional photographer. And I think the same trend is happening in area of programming. And just like having advanced image processing technology for photography helped non-photographers get better pictures, same thing is happening with ChatGPT. Is people who are either not good at programming, just getting started, they're able to get into that. But let's talk about more specifically what my experiences were. First thing that I found is ChatGPT is really good at generating HTML type of content, things that are popular, that there's tons of HTML code out there. It's able to learn the syntax, and you can ask it to generate JavaScript, HTML, CSS, all those things, and it's doing really good job at that. It is also really good at generating batch files, short scripts, and generating Excel formulas. Sometimes you forget what the Excel formula is, or you need a really complicated one, and you can just ask it and it will create it for you, and it is pretty much guaranteed to work. But job of a programmer isn't little scripts and formulas, it is more complicated applications. And so I've been trying to use ChatGPT to write a bigger pieces of code and see if they work. And generally what I found, they are really good, they're structured, they're formatted, but they don't always quite work. Sometimes the code doesn't compile or doesn't do the exact thing that you need. And it does need a little bit of tweaking here and there. So can it write a big chunk of C# or whatever C++ code and have it run automatically? Maybe, but I had not a great experience with it. The code that it generated always needed something to be corrected or adjusted. So it did save a lot of time for me by creating the overall structure and write most of the lines, but it just wasn't ready to run. The other type of code I asked ChatGPT to generate is a C# code for using on specific APIs. So there are these program extensions that you can use in your applications, like image processing, text extraction, all kinds of stuff. And so I used ChatGPT to generate some code for that. And it also did a really good job, but it wasn't quite perfect. It was either using an older version of API just because it wasn't sure about all the modern updates that are out there, or again, it wasn't working exactly the right way. So it's able to read documentation on some third-party API and figure out a code and give me most of it, which I think is absolutely amazing. But the end result wasn't at a state where you just click a button, it runs, and it's done. It required me going in there and doing something. An interesting thing that happened to me is I asked ChatGPT to generate some code to work with images, to do some kind of image processing. And it gave me the code, and it generated this really weird function about resizing. And I'm like, what is this? What do I need this? This is totally unnecessary. And I totally removed it because knowing that the API has built-in function for resizing images. And so I put the code in, I got it to work, I tuned it, everything's fine. However, the resizing isn't working quite as expected. Like, it's always weird, something is off. And it seems like the built-in resize function doesn't work properly. And then I remembered, like, hey, you know what? It generated that weird function for me. What was that all about? So I copy and paste it in, point my code to it, and all the resizing worked perfectly. So I don't know, what I think it did is it learned about other people having bad experience with the built-in resizing function, and they had to write this code. So it wrote it for me. So in that case, that was freaking amazing. So overall, I was very impressed with how Chat GPT can help non-programmers with light programming tasks such as scripts and batch files. And I also think it can help programmers a lot as well by doing a lot of grunt work. Sometimes it's better than other cases, but you don't know until you try it. Anyway, that's my opinion on programming using Chat GPT. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow on LinkedIn, subscribe on YouTube. I'll see you next time.